Hi, I'm Pratim Ranjan Bose, and you are watching Podcast with Pratim, presented by Iravati Research and Communication Center, or IRCC. I have with me retired Ambassador Sri Anil Trigunayat. We will discuss US President Donald Trump's Gaza ownership plan. Mr. Trump never leaves an opportunity to surprise us. So, uh, with Mr. Netanyahu by his side, he said that about that US ownership plan of Gaza. Now the question is, when the US president says such things, I mean, everyone then today's newspaper is full with criticism, including some from his own party, etc., etc. So the question is whether this is a frivolous act. I mean, I would expect not that it is not. So question is whether it is a frivolous act or it was dropped with a purpose, with something else in mind. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Pradeep. I said so nice always to talk to you. But this is something that should not shock the people for the simple reason that Trump, if you remember, during his last term, declared Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel, whereas it remains under the international law, UN Security Council resolutions, and a peace plan that East Jerusalem will be the capital of the new Palestinian state whenever it is formed. On the other hand, he also said that the Israelis have the full right to the Golan Heights, which, of course, ironically, during this time when Assad was removed, the Israelis have been able to occupy. So, and Trump, when he was there, he even shifted his embassy to Jerusalem. So, thereby, de facto, de jure, in his opinion, he has recognized Israel's rights to these, thereby changing the geographical contours of the place and the historic as well. On the other hand, this Gaza thing, he has been wanting that Gaza's war should stop. Now, when he is talking to you, it appears that as if he's concerned about the welfare of those people who have been displaced, the 1.9 billion people, of whom about 48,000 died or were killed, and hundreds and thousands roughly were injured. So he's not looking at the cause of that. What he's looking at is this a debris. It is a place which is destroyed and nobody can live there. I mean, I watched his discussion while Prime Minister Netanyahu was sitting with him in Washington, D.C. So he's essentially not letting people think that it is Israelis who are going to get away with it. Because if you remember from the very beginning in 2023, that Netanyahu said that all these Palestinians must go to Sinai, must go to Egypt, because that's where they came from. And that there is no place for these people in Gaza. And there is a proposal somehow to make the Ben Gurion Canal there, or even in President Trump's team, there are some of the key guys who actually consider Gaza as a very good real estate property. Trump himself here is a real estate guy. So there are two things we have to see. If he means that the people are shifted from there, and then you construct something and bring them back. Nobody's talking to bring them back. He wants to Egypt and Jordan to take them, and what happens after thereafter is their fate. Now, issue of Palestine, unfortunately, the Western leaders all tend to forget. It is also a very emotional issue. People, one after the other generations, they keep on having the hope of their home. They remember the old houses and this and that. So instead of resolving the situation, what he is trying to do is creating greater complications. So he has been even criticized by many political opponents, his own party people, Russia, France, all of the Arab world, that is not going to happen. Now, but does he care about anything? Because many of his decisions are taken in a way that is very difficult to call it irrational. I would say it is quite insensitive. I mean, you want the war to end, you want the hostages to be released, you want some kind of a thing. The next step is to look for the reconstruction of Gaza by various countries, which are in the region and outside, and think of a two-state solution. That is the logical way to go about it. But no, what he has done is created another controversy, and this is not going to die down so easily. As far as Egypt and Jordan are concerned, we all know that they have some kind of a financial dependence uh, on USA, essentially even for their budgetary support. So he thinks that he can get away with that. He has spoken to Sisi, he has spoken to King Abdullah, but I doubt very much. It is not only the piece of land, it is a whole political question that needs to be sorted out. And the sooner it is done, better it is, because otherwise we are going to once again see the resurgence of these extremist and terrorist elements. And then Israel will once again follow the same procedure that they have done this time. So we are looking at an unstable situation in the region.
So is Mr. Trump against the two-state solution? Or, I mean, I thought that, sorry for my layman's, that, it's kind of a bargain, just
No, the
upping the
thing is
bargain.
with him, problem is Trump last time said that I want to resolve this. He created the Abraham Accords. His basic thing, of course, fundamental thing of all American policy, foreign policy makers is security of Israel is paramount in their relationship. Right, that's the bottom line. That's not going to be compromised by any administration for that matter. We have seen the 15 months during Biden administration that even though they wanted peace, but they were providing all assistance and everything, and continue. That's how it's likely to go on. So we don't have to think about it too much because that's the reality. On the other hand, when you look at Trump's in the first term, he said, I will propose a deal of the century. They will be very happy and the kind of grandiose words he uses. But that was just shunted out. It was turned down by all sides. They didn't have the meat. It's not the money that they're looking for. It is what their recognition and their aspirations. So this is something that has not been addressed, and that's why it did not happen last time. And this time it'll be far more cantankerous, unless, of course, he changes course or clarifies his position. That's also very important for him to say. So I hope his advisors, his foreign secretary, his special envoy, his national security advisor, do advise him what is the right thing to do. If USA really wants to develop it, they should provide the funding. They are not in a position to do so. They are expecting the Gulf countries to fund it. The Gulf countries will fund it. But then what they can do is, if they want to provide the US forces to mediate while the reconstruction lasts, or the UN forces, they can do something like that to stabilize the situation rather than destabilize it.
Yes, it is an emotive issue. I mean, just playing on those emotions can go deadly. Last question, sir. When the head of state of a major state speaks on foreign issues and on as critical issues, or he or she is expected to be advised by his team, right? I mean, it cannot be a frivolous state. I mean, in your career, have you seen or do you know that it happens that way? I mean, is it Mr. Trump's plan or is it a plan of someone else? And I mean, I'm just coming back to the same question, whether they have something else in mind.
Well, it could be. I mean, there are many theories, but then I somehow do not believe in conspiracy theories. Because see, their theory that they want to take over and make it into a very nice joint. His own Witkoff has said that he's a real estate person. President Trump is also a real estate guy. But that would be very unwise of them. USA is such a beautiful big country. Why would they come all the way to Gaza and try to create? I mean, this is not going to go away. It's also possible that the kind of a peace plan they're talking about after this, in that one, Gaza is not part of the Palestinian territories. You see, so it's already there is a plan which has been floated around, which leaked somehow, or probably under discussion. So, but I doubt very much that the Palestinians, in that sense, would be like they don't want to be displaced. And what
The
happens to the
bigger
other
thing is
characters?
probably whether, even if assuming you are pushing them into Egypt and Jordan, and what will happen after that.
No, see, the thing is that the Egyptians did not want it, the Jordanians don't want it. Jordan already has about 65% of the total population, which is Palestinian. They have 1.2 million Syrian refugees already. They're Palestinian refugees. There are Iraqi refugees. There are people from all over. And there's a poor country. It's not a rich country. So they can't take on. I mean, just because USA provides them $2 billion a year or something like that, there is a base, the US base, doesn't mean that, I mean, they can compromise because there could be a problem for the administration there. Likewise, Egyptian economy is in the doldrums completely. They have a peace treaty with Israel, and the Egyptians do a big army, but they do think that in case something happens, like the Hamas kind of attack, if it had taken place from the Egyptian territory, you can imagine the Egypt and Israel would come directly in conflict. So,
Correct.
which is what they want to avoid. So, I think that he has to think about what kind of situation he's creating. Instead of resolving it, polarizing it, creating more dissonance in the region, more disturbance, is not something good either for Israel's security or for the regional security, or for that matter, for the US's security also. Because then terrorism will increase even more. Idea is to fight terrorism, extremism, and but this cannot be fought in these kind of abrasive statements and actions that are to be taken. He has suggested that is not going to happen.
But apparently, Israel just went gaga about it, isn't it?
So it suits Israel. I mean, Israeli government always wanted it. They couldn't keep Gaza earlier. They had to leave in 2006 when Intifada and all that began. And they left it in 2005 because earlier it was Egypt. And they got it in 1973, 67 war and all that. So I think that they could not carry on controlling it. And therefore they had to leave. This time they don't want the people there. Or even if they want people, they want worker type of people, not any other groups which they themselves had helped create. And so now today, Israel, it suits Israel very well that this one particular problem from on their borders will be addressed if there are no people who are fighting for the cause.
So just a one
It's
line.
a joint.
Yeah.
It's a joint effort by both US and Israel.
So
And they wish. I would say this is a wish or a wishful thinking.